The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Oh my God. Oh, that's a good way to start off the show right there. We're going to have to start doing that to start off the show from now on.
And that's how you get them, folks.
Oh, man. It's Monday night here on Armed Radio. And there's a lot of shit going on.
Boo koodles, if you will.
So we want to thank everybody for tuning in to Two Beards Talking here on Armed Radio. I am Daniel Sanders. Joining me is Matt Lassiter. And God, what the fuck is going on with the world?
People fighting, looting, shooting. It's okay. Oh, that's a song. My bad. Don't sue me. It's hell in a handbasket.
It is. So, like we always do at the start of every show here, we want to give a big shout out to the troops out there, to the men and women serving us overseas and on the home front. We appreciate everything y'all are doing for us. Keep up the good work. Come home safe. We're all rooting for you here back home. And a special thank you to all of our first responders, essential employees, everybody who's taking care of us during this corona pandemic. Is it even still a pandemic?
No, it's now a race war.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So y'all still matter. Just you're like the second string that came in to give the quarterback a break, after halfway through the third quarter. You mattered for a little bit, but now unfortunately we have to turn our attentions elsewhere.
Brady's back, bitches.
God, yes, everything. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God, everything is fucked.
Yeah, I wouldn't say everything's fucked. I would say a lot of things are fucked, but not everything.
Of course, unless you've been living under a fucking rock for the last, week?
Or sleeping in a foxhole.
Yeah, or sleeping in a foxhole. Which, if you're smart, you got a rock on top of you.
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking about the death of George Floyd. And all of the aftermath of it. It's a sad incident, what happened to Floyd. There's no doubt about it. But, like you heard at the start of the show, it's fucking anarchy right now.
Yes, which is, my take on the whole situation.
Yes, I know your take on the whole situation.
So do we even really need me for the rest of the show? Can we just let the beginning 30 seconds speak for itself and I'll just bow out?
No, I mean, okay. Look, the very first question that we need to ask and we need to have answered, is this about police brutality or is this about race?
It's going to depend on who you'd ask. I would say for the black Americans, they're going to say racism, because it is a white cop killing a black man.
Right.
Who was unarmed and subdued, by the way.
Yes.
Get that out there. Unarmed and subdued right next to a police vehicle.
Yes.
If you ask the average person that's not a black American, if you ask, I don't even know. I mean, most people are going to say police brutality, but the black Americans are going to say racism. And I can't say that they're wrong because we don't know that they're wrong. It could have been that cop may have been racist. I don't know because you don't get to talk to the dude.
Right.
And I don't want to talk to the dude because I just punch him in his stupid fucking face. Well,
the reason why I say the first thing we have to find out, is it about race or is it about police brutality? If it's about race, then that's all well and good, and I get it. But the problem is, I've not seen the video all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I know you've seen the video all the way through from its entirety.
Yes, I have.
From what I've seen of it, aside from the fact that it's a white officer on a black suspect there's nothing to indicate that this had anything to do with race.
Well, in these situations, there never is anything to indicate that it has to do with race, other than the fact that it's a white officer and a black suspect. Generally speaking, that's all the motive you need to attribute racism.
Yes.
For the most part. But it's not like he was out there screaming racial slurs at the man or anything like that.
Right.
That's why I lean more towards police brutality.
Right. And, you know, if it's a police brutality issue, I was having a debate with some people about all of this on Facebook the other day.
Just
and
bastions of intellect they are.
Yes. The thing about it, the post that my friend had made that I was making all these comments on, literally right under his post, you know, he was talking about, you know, this isn't about black lives, white lives, blue lives, Asian, Mexican. That's not, it's about people. All lives matter. And it's not, it's a people issue is what the problem is. It's bad people doing bad things, whether it's a bad person in a uniform or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's bad people doing bad things. And you cannot hold an entire group accountable for the actions of a few. I'll rephrase. You can. You shouldn't.
Well, okay. This is the argument I'm tired of hearing. For every bad cop, for every one bad cop, there's 100 good cops. Okay. So, that means there were 5 cops on the scene, and not one of them was good? Not one of them thought, maybe don't choke this motherfucker to death?
And you know, the story that I'm referring to with this, that was right under my friend's post, it is a story out of Jackson, Mississippi, and I want to say this happened right after the George Floyd incident. But it's a video of a black officer and a black suspect, and the officer has the suspect in a front chokehold, Hollywood chokehold. We called it in the Marine Corps.
Like cross-collar choke?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, okay, not a cross-collar.
Yeah, not a cross-collar, yeah.
Okay, just regular chokehold.
Yeah, a Hollywood choke is what
Yeah,
we called it.
Okay, gotcha.
And, I mean, he's choking the guy out, and the guy's saying the same thing in the video. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Now, the suspect in this case in Jackson, Mississippi, he didn't die, of course. George Floyd did. So the question that I kept posing, you know, why is, if this is supposed to be about police brutality, why is the Floyd case garnering as much attention as it is, and this case out of Mississippi hardly getting any coverage at all? Is it because George Floyd died? Possible. Is it because this case in Mississippi is a black officer and a black suspect? It's black on black and doesn't fit the media narrative that they want to push for racism? I'd come more likely believing that, but it shows in either case that it has nothing to do with police brutality. The media is not pushing a narrative for police brutality. They're pushing a narrative for race.
Well, I think this one goes back to the old adage of if it bleeds, it leads. You're going to get more traction out of a story where the suspect dies. It's loss of life, and then you can sit there and dissect everything that cop did, which, granted, everything he did was probably textbook against police protocol.
Oh, I'd agree, yes.
So, with that being said, they can now sit there and dissect and go, okay, this shouldn't have happened, this shouldn't have happened, this shouldn't have happened. I didn't watch the video about the Jackson, Mississippi thing, so I don't know what led up to that altercation. But the media is going to push the narrative they want to push.
Yeah.
They've proven that time and time again. So, I mean, to bring up stuff like that, you're basically just fucking fucking farting in the wind at this point.
Pretty much. Now, the thing about it, this is national spotlight. Protests are popping up all over the country. Riots are popping up all over the country. As a matter of fact, there was a protest today in Fort Payne, where we're from.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, it kind of was. Now, I'm very grateful and appreciative for the fact that it stayed peaceful. I actually went to the protest, and
I was cooking ribs.
Yeah. I'd have much rather had ribs, but
Full disclosure.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. So, but no, like I said, I went to the protest. It lasted for about an hour. Started at 5 o'clock, ended right around 6. And I mean, they were yelling and chanting and shouting, but it never got out of hand. There were a couple of people trying to stir the pot. I actually did a short interview with somebody that was out there. I'll play that clip here in just a second. But you are going to hear in there somebody who has shrunken phallus syndrome.
That's mean.
In other words, he drives a lifted truck with really loud pipes.
Oh, he was booming too. He had the he had the boom boom going.
Yeah, he had the boom boom going, and he was booming of all fucking bands, Alabama.
Don't sue us. Fair use, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there were people that were, and this guy, I don't know how many times he drove by, but that's all he was doing. He was driving back and forth. The protest was being done on the front steps at the police department. And this guy just kept driving up and down the street in his lifted truck, blasting his fucking music, and he has a thin blue line flag and a Trump 2020 flag hanging off the back of his truck.
Yeah,
he was there to fucking try to start shit.
He was instigating, and he was looking to like run somebody over with his truck, probably. And I don't advocate that bullshit. If people are protesting peacefully and not posing a threat to your life, leave them the fuck alone.
Absolutely.
Let them say what they got to say. They have a First Amendment right to say it.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're going to cut out here real quick. I'm going to play this interview that I did today at the protest. So we're going to get that clip up here right now. I'm standing here outside the Fort Payne Police Department, and I got a couple out here. The protest is already broken up. This couple here actually stayed around a little bit longer after it was broken up. Y'all mind if I ask you, what exactly are y'all out here protesting?
I would say police brutality and the injustices that Black Americans have been facing for years and years and years, and that our federal government has seemed to kind of not, they're what am I trying to say? They're stagnant. They're not doing anything. Okay. So this, however many years Black Americans have been Black Americans, they've been feeling oppressed. There's been riots, there have been protests. It gets shut down, and then it happens again. So we're here to see the change that we've been waiting for years. That's well deserved, and so that's why we're here today.
Let me pull my microphone out here. Traffic's getting a little bit louder out here. Now, the protest out here went pretty peacefully. Yeah. How a protest should go. What are your thoughts on what's happening in Minneapolis, places like Minneapolis, Atlanta, Nashville, where there's rioting, looting, arson? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is I'm not surprised whatsoever. And honestly, if you look at history and you look at how it's happened in the past and how there's been no change to anything, that, I mean, like, it was bound to happen again. Honestly, it was kind of inevitable. So I don't agree with it. I don't agree with people hurting private property and doing that type of thing, but it's kind of like, what did you expect? And the peaceful protest didn't work, the quiet didn't work, the peace didn't work, and so now being louder, becoming vocal, I think that's what these people are doing. It's to a point of you're just fed up, you know? So I understand it. While I don't exactly 100% agree with it, I 100% understand it.
So there you go. As you heard him say in the interview, in his opinion, it's about police brutality and racial injustice.
I don't really disagree with anything you said. Mostly, I'm calling it police brutality.
Yeah.
You have to. Unless picture service of this dude at a Klan rally or throwing up Heil Hitler or freaking drawing swastikas on something, you can't call it racism until you know for a fact he's a racist. That's the trouble we get into here. We label everything that's white versus black as racism.
Yeah.
We can't just fucking disagree.
Yeah, and, going back to what I was saying earlier, the debate that I was having on Facebook, one of the guys that I got into a debate with, he kept trying to compare what was happening in Minneapolis and everything with all the riots and everything. He basically said this country was founded on rebellion. It's rebellion is in our DNA. He was comparing what's going on in Minneapolis to the build up to the American Revolution, which that's a stupid fucking comparison.
It's not a 1-to-1. Times were different, things were different. But
he
was right in saying that rebellion is in our blood.
Rebellion is in our blood, yes, but
we're a rebellious bunch, we Americans.
But you go back to the American Revolution, and it was totally fucking different. George Washington didn't come up and say, "The British are trying to tax us without representation. You, go and burn down Benjamin Franklin's newspaper. You, go and flip John Adams' wagon into the street. We'll show those ruffians."
Yeah, well, I mean, when we think of riot nowadays, we think of it by the modern terms of what a riot is.
The point that I'm making is, and, I even said that to him. The founding fathers, they didn't go around burning businesses. They didn't go around burning colonial businesses. They didn't go around attacking innocent people in the streets. And this was his response to that. Have you ever heard of the Boston Tea Party? Yeah, I have. And you apparently fucked off in class that day, because the men involved in the Boston Tea Party raid, they boarded British tea ships. They dumped British tea into the harbor. Again, they didn't attack the local dry goods store on the corner.
And if you want to go further, deeper down the rabbit hole on that, if I'm not mistaken, that was in direct response to the Boston Massacre. I do believe. I think
I'm rusty on that part of my history. I don't remember if the Boston Tea Party occurred before or after the Boston Massacre.
Actually, no. Now that I think about it,
I think the Boston Massacre was a result of the Boston Tea Party.
I think it may have been the other way around. But either way, there was what we did, then there was retaliation, or there was what they did, and then there was retaliation. Either way, it's not the same. You can't conflate the two. To say that what happened in 1776 is what's happening now in 2020.
Right.
It's a completely different set of circumstances. I will say this, though. This is how rebellions start.
Well, when we first started talking about this, of course, you've got your anarchist viewpoint on everything.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
And this is exactly what I told you. If these people had only went and attacked and burned down the police department, then I would call it a get what you give scenario.
Well, they did burn down police departments.
They did, but they also burned down a Target. They burned down an AutoZone.
Okay, well, first off, fuck Target.
In Nashville, they burned down the courthouse. Fucking first and foremost, Nashville. You're not in fucking Minneapolis. You're not even in fucking Minnesota.
Yeah, but it was a courthouse, so they kind of had that one coming. It's a courthouse. You see what I'm saying?
But my point is, why are you attacking businesses and locations that have absolutely nothing to do with what happened to George Floyd?
solidarity. Like I said, I sent you the video of the AutoZone thing. It wasn't really the...
It may not have started off that way, but somebody fucking burned it down.
Yeah, we'll see.
Whether it was somebody who was protesting and became a violent rioter, or whether it was somebody who was instigating, we'll get into the conspiracy theories behind all of this shit in just a minute. But, either way, AutoZone had nothing to do with it.
No, but again, I say, you've got that dude that came up there and just started busting out windows for no other reason other than the fact that apparently he just wanted to bust out some fucking windows.
There's been times that I want to just fucking bust out some windows. I mean, I don't do it.
I've done
it.
Anarchy. But what I'm saying is, he started that. It wasn't a group of protesters from Minnesota that started that.
Well, now, we don't know for a fact where this man was from. He may have been from Minnesota.
Okay,
might not have been from Minneapolis. May have been from St. Paul.
But even still, it wasn't the average protester that started that one. I can't speak on what happened to the police precincts, although you get what you fucking deserve. Thank you, Joaquin Phoenix. Thank you, Joker. But as far as Target, I mean, fuck Target. I'm not a big fan of them anyway. Overpriced Walmart, if you ask me. But
the only thing Target has over Walmart is back when music CDs were a thing. You could buy unedited CDs at Target.
Yeah, you could do that at Kmart too, and they shut down Kmart, bastards.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is, no, AutoZone didn't need to be burned down.
Target didn't need to be burned down.
Target didn't. Well, I guess what I'm getting at, you're pointing your anger in the wrong direction.
Well, hold on, your anarchy is fading.
No, not really. I'm getting there. Like you're in a city. You're taking issue with state government, federal government, police officers, and you're burning down outlet stores. No, like if you're gonna rage against the machine, rage against the fucking machine. Take that shit to a government building. Rage against the machine.
Please don't sue us, Rage Against the Machine.
Like, seriously, like, you can't, they can't, I mean, they might could, I don't know. I feel like Tom Morello's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're gonna protest against the government, do it at government buildings.
And...
But if you want some free shit, go to Target.
And I mean, really, truly... If you're going to steal a TV, why steal it from Target? Go to Best Buy.
I can't even argue with that one. Just a pretty sweet shit at Best Buy. So I can't even argue with that one.
Now, of course, one of the biggest race baiters out there, the man himself, Al Sharpton.
Race Baiter Ginsburg.
Race Baiter Ginsburg. That is now his new nickname.
Trademarked.
You had said before the show that you were curious as to why he's been so quiet on the matter. He's not been quiet, been quieter than normal. Well,
normally when something like this happens, he's leading marches and leading protests, and he's on CNN, MSNBC, fucking any outlet that'll have him going, This is racism, chewing my food still. So, I mean, it's just eerie that he's not here going, hey, guys, I'm still alive.
But, and I was curious about that too, because I hadn't seen him in the media about all of this stuff. Maybe I was just watching it the wrong time. I don't know. So I just went, before the show started, I went on Google and I just searched Al Sharpton. And there's an article on Fox News from 2 days ago. This is the headline on the article. Al Sharpton says destruction of black-owned stores in Minneapolis is reckless. I'm going to break that down. Because first and foremost, Race Baiter Ginsburg.
Yeah.
He's against the destruction of black-owned stores. What about white-owned stores? What about Asian-owned stores? Indian-owned stores?
Hispanic,
yes. I wasn't leaving out the Hispanics. I was just making a point that you're saying the destruction of black-owned stores is reckless. I say the destruction of any store, regardless of who owns it, is reckless.
Yes. When riots happen, okay, I've said this before, I'll say it 1,000 more times, I'm sure. The individual is smart. The collective is dumb, very, very dumb. So you can get 10 really intelligent people together, and they will find a way to do something monumentally stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So magnify that by 100. These could be really intelligent people. It only takes one person to just go, hey, let's go set that on fire, for everybody to go, meh, fuck it. It's a Tuesday.
And speaking of race baiting...
Ah, Jesus.
Just before the show started, somebody sent me this picture. Let me get it pulled up here. Let's see here. This is a show on Hulu, and it's called I Can't Breathe, Black Men Living and Dying in America, hosted by Don Lemon. I'm sorry, but Don Lemon is, this has nothing to do with him being black or gay or anything like that. Don Lemon is a fucking tool.
He should change his name to Philip.
Change your name to Stanley. You're a fucking tool.
What's up, Black and Decker?
Oh, ouch.
2 on the nose.
Oh. Black and Dicker.
It works. Well, we're canceled.
We just went there.
We're canceled.
Oh, my God. We just went there.
Look, I've got no love lost for that man.
None whatsoever. You go back to the Jussie Smollett thing.
Juicy Smollett?
Yeah, Juicy Smollett. He race baited the shit out of that.
Everybody did.
And I'm going to say it again. I was calling it from day one that it was a fucking staged event.
And I can 100% agree with that, because you came to my house and was like, that shit was staged. That didn't happen. And I was like, we'll wait and see. Goddamn if you weren't right.
Matter of fact, I think I won some money out of that.
It may have. I don't know. If you did, I haven't paid you yet.
No, you haven't.
So, next topic.
But, this whole fucking shit is just... I'm really at a loss for words at it. Protesting, like I said, to, going back to the guy that I was having the debate with that kept comparing everything to the American Revolution.
Who wouldn't come on the show, by the way?
Yes. I even invited him to come on the show and share his opinion, and he refused to do it, claiming he did not want to give any credibility to a right-wing nut job.
First off, I have both of my wings, and I'm not crazy. Maybe a little bit.
Well, I will admit, while I did not directly call him any names or anything like that, because once you get, especially in any debate, even online, once you get to the point that you're name calling and everything, you've completely lost the argument. Yeah,
if you resort to just 3rd grade, you're a poopy head. Yeah, you lose.
It works for Trump.
It only works for Trump because he's a fucking president. If he was any other schmuck in the world, you'd be like, yeah, fuck you, you orange bastard.
But no, I told him that I'd said something about his anarchist way of thinking. And he came back at me and began making all of these assumptions of me that I support police brutality and that I don't hold law enforcement accountable, and of course calling me a right-wing nut job.
Well, you are kind of right-wing.
Moving on.
I mean,
I am conservative, yes. That I've never denied that.
yeah.
But no, it was at that point, that was when I actually called him a name. And I called him ignorant because he was. Because the very first thing I said when I started conversing with this man, very first thing I said, I 100% agree. The officers involved in this need to be held accountable.
Yeah. I saw the screenshots.
And then he's going to turn around and say, I support police brutality and don't hold law enforcement accountable. So it's either we're going to take the word ignorant, we're going to break it down, the root word being ignore. You either read what I wrote and ignored it, or you just ignored what I wrote altogether by not reading it. Makes you ignorant.
Well, the thing about it is apparently in this country, you can't have two different opinions. It's just not allowed anymore.
Yeah, because after I called him ignorant, his response to that was to call me racist because I differed from him.
Oh, yeah. If you differ from somebody, you're racist. Or you're a Nazi. Or you're... I don't know. What are they calling us now? Like,
I don't know. Antifa's on the terrorist organization list now. So.
Good, I mean, good for them. They're doing big things. Oh, wait. That's not a good thing.
I mean, depends. If you're Antifa, that's not a good thing.
Well, you're moving up in the world. You've graduated to ISIS level annoyance.
Yeah.
Do not become fly in my ointment.
I'm trying to remember who it was that tried to label NRA as a terrorist organization.
Literally fucking everyone. They support guns. They must be terrorists.
Well,
No.
then fucking Allahu Akbar, motherfucker.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that, maybe. I don't know. Is that a black SUV outside I see over there? Shit.
But now, the other thing on the flip side of this coin, there's actually some really interesting conspiracies surrounding all of this shit.
I already debunked one of them.
Well, let's hear it.
It was the one where the dude was talking about the police car and how it said police on the tag, and cop cars don't say that.
Right.
Minneapolis police cars do. It's actually a Minneapolis statute that if you're a policeman and your car is clearly marked as police, you don't have to have a number tag. So that's a statute.
Okay, but aside from that, there are other aspects of what that guy was talking about.
That were pretty interesting. That was just the first one that I could pick apart.
Like
that was the easiest.
This was what, a 10-minute video?
Yeah, it was a long one.
One of the things that this guy pointed out is in 10 minutes, not once did this officer that was knelt down on George Floyd's neck or the Asian officer that was standing in the middle of the street behind him. There were supposedly two other officers on scene that were behind the car that you couldn't see. But at no point in this 10-minute video did they ever get on their fucking radio.
Not that I saw.
And I don't know about you listening out there. I've had quite a lot of interaction with law enforcement. Not always bad.
I've had a few, and most of them were bad.
But there was one interaction that I do recall where in a 5-minute span, the officer that was dealing with me was on his radio 3 times.
Yeah. Kind of got to check in with dispatch.
Yeah.
Situation under control.
Yeah. Hey, request backup.
Yeah, shit like that. Which, I mean, dude already had backup. He didn't have to request backup. Dude didn't need backup.
Yeah. One of the other things that he points out, let's just say for argument's sake that David Chauvinist, whatever his fucking name is.
It's a name.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that he was hell-bent on killing this man. Deep down, he has racial tendencies, and he wanted to kill himself, a black man. Just for the sake of argument. Why, in God's good fucking name, would he just sit there with his knee on the guy's neck for 10 fucking minutes when he's a foot away from the damn police car?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's just say, playing with your thought experiment here, if he just wanted to kill himself, a black man, he's a cop. There's about 100 different legal ways he could have done that.
Yes.
That he could have been like, oh, he was resisting arrest, he went for my gun, he had a gun, and we'll plant one later, sprinkle some crack on him, David Chappelle, you know. But there's about 100 different ways he could have done it where he would have been completely exonerated. There still would have been protests, there still would have been riots, but there was about 100 different ways he could have got the job done.
Right.
He did it in the most slow, agonizing, and stupid way possible.
Right.
I don't think the dude's racist. I just think he's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, who's to say?
You know, and that's the thing about it. If I was hell bent that I was going to kill this man, bear in mind, this is a 10-minute video. I've had my knee on this guy's neck for 10 minutes. And the guy is looking directly into the camera of the person who is fucking recording him. If I want to fucking murder somebody and get away with it, I'm not going to fucking stand there and keep doing it while somebody's filming me.
No, you're not. Oh, and by the way, since we're on this topic, the police officer in question is under 24/7 suicide watch. So
the Clintons are going to show up.
He's going to get suicided. So there's that.
Yes.
We're going to throw that. I'm going to get that conspiracy out before anybody else jumps on it. Mine.
Yes. Yeah. And if he dies, then I'm calling it right now. The Clintons were involved.
Or at least their lawyer or something. I don't
Possibly.
know. They got a lot of people. I don't know.
Did he have any connection to Epstein? Do we know this yet?
Hell, who knows? Probably. Shit.
Did Epstein ever go to Minneapolis?
I bet he did. He probably donated to the fucking Minneapolis Police Fund or some shit.
He seems more like a firefighter kind of guy.
Yeah. He likes them big hoses.
But yeah, getting off what this one conspiracy, because I mean, I'm not going to go into every single fucking conspiracy that this guy listed in this one fucking long ass damn post.
It was long, like 5 pages of screenshots.
A video surfaced recently. I don't know where this was at. I won't say St. Louis, Chicago. It was not Minneapolis.
No, I think it might have been St. Louis.
But one of the rioters made this video where you see a pallet of bricks on the street corner right outside of this building. And the guy making the video, the rioter, even he says on video, where did these bricks come from? Who brought these bricks here? I know what this building is. I was here 3 months ago for jury duty, talking about the courthouse. I know y'all don't keep piles of bricks out here.
He said there was no construction in the area.
Yes.
I can't 100% attribute that to Antifa, but I know that is one of their tactics. They will show up, they will offload things to be thrown, and then they will drive away. They will come back later and start hucking shit at people. So I can't 100% attribute that to Antifa, but then again, you can't 100% say that it wasn't them.
Right.
So, that it's, to me, it looked like a plant.
Yeah.
They planted that shit there in hopes that someone would start throwing bricks. I don't think they got what they wanted because those individuals are smart enough to go, hey, this is a setup. Don't do it.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's happening all over the fucking country. Shit's getting out of hand. I know this was in St. Louis, because I read the article about it this morning after I saw the video last night. Group of protesters, rioters, whatever you want to call them, jackasses, blocking traffic on a highway, on a major highway.
Oh, the FedEx truck.
Yes. I know you've seen them driving down the road. FedEx semi-truck hauling 2 trailers.
Yeah.
And as the story was written, apparently they were in the middle of the street trying to burn something. They stopped the truck and was telling them to back up. And then you can actually see in the video people are hauling boxes coming from the back of the truck. Not saying that the boxes came from the back of the... I'm saying these people are coming from the back of the truck and they have boxes in their hands. Odds are they're taking boxes out of the truck.
Yeah, it's not hard to break those seals.
Yeah.
Unless it has locks on it. But usually it's just a seal.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hell, if you've got 2 fucking pliers, you can bust the goddamn lock open.
Yeah, that's true.
Or 2 wrenches, rather.
Not that we've done that.
I have.
Admission.
I saw it on YouTube and I wanted to try it, so I took one of my old padlocks and I busted it open.
Okay. Admission accepted.
So, the truck begins to take off. And the guy filming, all of a sudden, he begins chasing after the truck because there's somebody pinned under one of the fucking wheels. Don't know what he's on that's causing this wheel to not spin and be pinned under it, but the guy was dragged by this truck between the 2 trailers for a good little bit.
I would say at least a 1/10 of a mile. Conservative estimate.
Conservative estimate, yes. The driver, understandably, thinks that they're trying to jack his fucking rig, so he just takes off. They're chasing the truck, beating on the truck, telling him to stop. He guns it and just keeps on going.
Yeah, if you're gonna block traffic, expect to be run over.
Yes.
It's probably gonna happen.
You know, and the thing about that, the protesting and everything, like what they were doing today in Fort Payne, they were on the steps of the police department. And like you said, the one jackass that was instigating, looking for somebody possibly to run over and shit, they weren't standing in the middle of the street blocking traffic. So the only way he would have done it would have been to run somebody over that was trying to cross the street.
Yes.
Or drive off of the fucking street and run up on the courthouse steps.
Yes, which would have gotten him quickly arrested.
Mm-hmm.
But as I stated earlier, I was already in contact with some people that were there, that are friends of mine. I said, if you need my assistance, you just let me know.
Right.
I'm not going to let your First Amendment right be silenced by a jackass.
Yeah. So, on the flip side of that coin, if you're standing in the middle of a major fucking highway, blocking traffic, being a jackass just to be a jackass, if you get run over, I have no sympathy for you.
I mean, if you're going to be tough, if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. People just... They're protesting is one thing. I don't necessarily have an issue with the riots myself. You do. I don't. I just wish...
Well, again, going back to what I said earlier, if they had only gone after the police precincts, you get what you give, is how I would have looked at it. But burning down Target, burning down AutoZone, burning down a courthouse in Nashville, fucking, 1,000 miles away from where everything is happening.
I will shed no tears over a courthouse being burned down. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to shed tears over that. There's no telling how many people that courthouse is fucked over. So I will shed no tears over a courthouse being burned. AutoZone, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Leave AutoZone alone. They didn't do shit. Target, yeah, maybe leave them alone. They didn't do shit.
Yeah.
But, man, if you're a cop in Minneapolis, fucking duck. You are in the crosshair. And rightfully so.
And, also before the show, pull up that thing you were telling me about in the Houston area.
Oh, that one.
Yes. This is bad. This definitely needs some attention.
Okay. Jesus Christ, where did it go? This is the fun part. Ah, there it is. Okay, so here's the thing. I have no clue 100% whether this is actually a Black Lives Matter group or if it was somebody just trying to stir up shit in the Houston area, but it is posted as Black Lives Matter, which they spelled lives wrong. Go figure. But it says, we will be assassinating white families until justice is served. We will set up in white neighborhoods and cities. It is time to take action. All white people must pay for their sins. They are evil and jealous human beings. Let's see you mourn over your uncooked, disease-having families for once. White babies, old white peoples, lawyers, police, etc. P.S. There are over 100 of us. The mission will be done. You ain't got the numbers.
No. I mean, first and foremost, you're in Texas.
Like I told you, Texas ain't as Texas as everybody thinks it is.
No, but there's always one.
But what I'm... Okay. Let me deep dive on this one. If you want to come at somebody like that and announce it, that is premeditated.
Yes.
You have spoken, you have said, we are coming to kill you. So, if someone in one of these white neighborhoods, doing air quotes, or white cities, because, you know, those are a fucking thing apparently.
More air quotes.
And you get shot in the face, you brought that on yourself.
Yes.
Name, aside from the overt racist, because there are still overt racists in this country.
Absolutely.
Aside from them, name one person you have heard say, George Floyd wasn't murdered. No one said that. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, a different shade of brown. It doesn't matter. No one has said that he wasn't murdered.
Right.
No one is saying the cop should not go to jail. No one is saying that no justice should be served. We're pretty much all on board with that one.
Yeah.
So why would you then say, oh, well, we're going to come kill white people until justice is served? I didn't do it. And if you come to my house, you're going to find out what my noisemaker can do.
Mm-hmm.
So probably don't.
Click, clack, motherfucker.
I mean, it's a universal sound.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, don't make threats because that just makes you a target.
Yeah. I mean, that's out there now.
Yeah, that's on the internet. That was posted in a buy, sell, and trade.
So
in that area.
I mean, now this is the problem with that now. A white guy in a white neighborhood in a white city sees a black guy just standing on the corner.
What's going to happen? What do you think?
Well, now he has fucking credence to.
Well, not really, but now he's going to be way more suspicious than normal.
I mean, let's just for the sake of argument say it's. I feel like killing me a black man today. Bang! Hey, I've got this thing where I saw it on buy sell trade where black guys said some Black Lives Matter said they were going to white neighborhoods and white cities to kill white people. I got the drop on his ass first.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. If you are trying to escalate this into a race war, that's how you do it.
Yes.
And that's not what anyone's advocating for. We don't want a race war. We want the person responsible for a murder to be tried for murder. You can't get first. I know people want first degree. You can't get first degree. Well, it wasn't premeditated.
Right. But the thing about it, you know, with any court case, prosecution has to be able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And it's already been established that George Floyd had pre-existing conditions. And I was reading an article the other day that if the medical examiner attributes his death to any one of those pre-existing conditions, even though cause of death, I think cause of death was listed as asphyxiation.
And probably was.
You know, even though the officer had his knee pinned down on this guy's neck for almost 10 minutes, if the coroner and the ME attribute the cause of death to any one of those pre-existing conditions, asphyxiation brought on by a heart attack or whatever, then he's right now, it was my understanding, he's facing third-degree murder and manslaughter.
Yeah, that's what you're not going to get first degree out of this.
No.
You won't-
Second degree at the most.
Yeah. I'm saying this is what needs to happen. Second degree murder. What was it I said? It was second degree murder.
But again, to get second degree murder, the prosecution has to be able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that his cause of death was directly related to the officer's knee being on his neck.
Which, if they have a decent medical examiner, I think that's what they're going to come back with.
Right.
But I'm saying second degree murder. For one, I'm saying he should definitely be charged with negligent homicide.
Yes.
As well. That should be a concurrent sentence. And manslaughter.
Yes.
You should run those all three sentences concurrently. He should not see the light of day for 50 years.
Well, it wouldn't be concurrently, it'd be back to back.
Whatever. But they should run all three sentences at the same, he needs to do at least 50 years in prison for this. And any cop that was watching that should be accessory.
Yes.
And that's just how that should go. So, Mr. Asian fellow,
Secret Asian man.
you are an accessory to his murder.
Yes.
And you should be held accountable. There were three other cops there that could have pulled him off and said, hey, let's just put him in the cop car. We've got him in handcuffs. Put him in the car.
And, the whole thing, too. What was use of counterfeit money?
Yeah. Big fucking deal. You don't need 4 cops and a knee on the back of someone's neck for counterfeit money.
Yeah.
Hey, that was counterfeit. He might not have even known it was counterfeit.
Yeah.
I have gotten a counterfeit bill out of a fucking ATM. It's happened. I went to use it, and they were like, this is counterfeit. I'm like, whoa, holy shit, I didn't print that.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't even know it was counterfeit. Or maybe he did. Who gives a shit? A counterfeit bill, that is not worth taking someone's life.
No.
If he had just shot a baby in the face, yeah, maybe. Kill the motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, no. Counterfeit bill, put him in cuffs, put him in the car, get to the bottom of the story.
Yes.
Maybe he does some time, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah. And again, like you said, he may not have known it was counterfeit. There's no telling. I mean, shit, I'm 33 years old. Started receiving money from my grandparents when I was probably about 4.
You've probably passed off fake currency before.
Probably.
In your yeah. Everyone probably has at least once.
Yeah.
The odds are ever in your favor of passing off fake currency at one point in time or another.
I think the odds of having passed off fake currency at one point or another is just as high as that dollar bill in your wallet having been in a stripper's butt crack at one point.
And the odds are good.
Yes.
But, yeah, so even if it was a case of forgery or counterfeiting, it doesn't matter. Those are not capital crimes.
Right.
You should not be killed for things that aren't capital crimes. You shoot a store owner and you're trying to shoot your way out, you're probably going to get shot.
Yeah.
You just stabbed 5 people in a bus, you're probably going to get shot.
You raped a 5-year-old girl, you're probably going to get shot, more than likely by her father.
Yes. You pull out a $10 bill, the store owner thinks it's funny money, you should not be killed for that.
Yeah. Because, again, unless you've got a fucking printing press in your basement and you know exactly what kind of fucking rag to use to print money, for those of you that don't know, money is actually made from cloth, not paper.
True.
If you know exactly what kind of blend of materials to use for this, unless you have all of that capability, odds are you don't know it's fake.
Yeah.
Here's the thing right now. If you passed me $2 bills, and I'm using dollar bills for a specific reason, if you passed me 2 $1 bills and asked me to identify which one was fake, I probably wouldn't be able to.
No. No. You might not even be able to do it on a really good 5. Like, if someone did really good on it, you might not even be able to with higher denominations.
It depends on whether or not they can get the fucking denomination strip inside there.
Yeah. Which, I mean, there was a kid that actually got hired by the government because he printed off $100 bills on an inkjet, and he did it so well that people couldn't tell. Like, kudos to him. But what I'm saying is, you shouldn't be murdered over fake currency.
Hell, that movie Catch Me If You Can.
I'm not sure if I watched it.
Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio.
May have seen it. I don't know.
It's based on a true story. And Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Frank Abagnale, he was basically committing bank fraud by printing his own fucking payroll checks and shit. He works for the fucking federal government now.
Yeah, they hire the best and brightest, even if they're criminal, especially if they're criminals.
Yeah.
So they just amend that.
So, yeah, it's we need to get a grip, people. Just plain and simple.
Yeah, I don't. Shit's gone too far. It's gonna go even further, and people are gonna start getting killed.
Yeah.
And you want to mourn the life of one man, that's fine. I expect you to do that, but let's not create greater loss of life.
Yes.
You know, keep it civil.
Yes.
Protest all you want. You know, say your fuck yous to the cop. If you see a cop and you want to look him dead in his shit and say fuck you, go for it.
Right.
But let's keep it civil.
Yeah. That's all the time we got. We got to start wrapping it up here. So don't forget to go on Facebook, look up Two Beards Talking, like us, follow us, interact with us. We want to hear your opinion on everything that's happening.
This is going to be a good one.
This will be a very good one. Yeah, we definitely want to hear your opinion on everything that's happening right now. I want to know, do you think this is about police brutality? Do you think this is about race? Do you agree with all the riots and looting, or are you like me and think, you know, getting a little bit out of fucking hand?
Or are you like me and just say anarchy?
We're not playing it again.
Damn it.
Again, big thank you to all of our troops serving overseas, men and women serving overseas and on the home front. We appreciate everything y'all are doing for us. Keep up the good work and come home safe. We're all rooting for you here back home. This has been Two Beards Talking. I'm Daniel Sanders.
And I'm Matt Lassiter.
Thanks for listening, everybody.